Start our meetings with the Pledge of Allegiance. If you would rise and join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First, some administrivia for those members of the audience. Should there be an unexpected emergency in the building and the alarms sound, please use the exit behind you. You may also use the exit to my right, to your left, when the alarms activate. However, the elevators will not be operable. If you need assistance, please wait for first responders to arrive. The Planning Board voluntarily continues to offer remote participation. If any member of the Planning Board participates remotely, votes shall be by roll call. And we actually have a full house in person tonight. Yay. If you are attending the meeting remotely, you visit www.zoom.us and you enter the meeting ID 754663912. You may also participate by phone for audio only. The phone number is 646-558-8656. Same meeting ID, 754-663-912. If you are on the phone and you wish to be recognized, hit *9 to raise your hand to be recognized by the chair, and then once recognized, *6 to toggle mute and unmute. At this point, I will introduce the members and staff who are present this evening. To my far right is alternate Mr. Mousy, alternate Mr. Wood, alternate Ms. Lavoie, planning director Ms. Robidoux.
Good evening.
Planning intern Mr. Principato. To the rear is our planning clerk, Ms. Cavallo.
Good evening.
Town administrator representative town council liaison Mr. Chase.
Good evening.
One of those guys. Regular member Mr. Healy.
Good evening.
Member Mr. Minervini.
Good evening.
Vice Chair Mr. O'Connor.
Good evening.
To my far left is our media coordinator Mr. Provencher. Deputy Director of Public Works Mr. LaRue.
Good evening.
Member Mr. Fishman. Member Mr. Pelletier.
Good evening.
Town Administrator Representative Mr. Churchiello.
Good evening.
Secretary Mr. Malaby.
Hello.
And I'm
Getting feedback.
Dave Nelson. I'm the chair.
That's a hell of an announcement there.
Wow. The first item under our business tonight is escrow, and we have 3 items. Item number 25-13 for Denali Estates, number 3.
Okay, so this is Denali Estates Phase 2 and 3. The request is to renew the performance bond in the amount of $1,205,523.15 for the above noted project. The new expiration date will be June 6th of 26.
Mr. Chair, I so move.
Second.
Moved by O'Connor, seconded by Malaby to accept the escrow as presented. I will poll the board. Mr. Chase?
Yes.
Mr. Healy?
Yes.
Mr. Minervini?
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor?
Yes.
Mr. Fishman? Mr. Pelletier?
Yes.
Mr. Chiricello?
I abstain on.
Okay. Mr. Malaby?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Next item is item number 25-14, corner post restorations.
Okay, this is for a subdivision on Jefferson Street. So this is a request to release the final cash escrow in the amount of $16,295.50. This escrow is non-interest bearing.
Mr. Chair, I so move.
Second.
Moved by O'Connor, seconded by Malaby to accept the escrow as presented. I'll poll the board. Mr. Chase?
Yes.
Mr. Healy?
Yes.
Mr. Minervini?
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor?
Yes.
Mr. Fishman?
Yes.
Mr. Pelletier?
Yes.
Mr. Chiricello?
Yes.
Mr. Malaby?
Yes.
And chair votes yes. Next item is Item number 25-15, also corner post restorations.
Okay, the first one, the previous one was for 28 Jefferson. This is for 26 Jefferson. That was a two-lot subdivision. So we also have a final release of cash escrow in the amount of $15,479. And this escrow is also non-interest bearing.
And with that, Mr. Chair, I so move.
Second.
Moved by O'Connor, seconded by Malamby to approve as presented. I will poll the board. Mr. Chase?
Yes.
Mr. Healy?
Yes.
Mr. Minervini?
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor?
Yes.
Mr. Fishman?
Yes.
Mr. Pelletier? Mr. Chercello?
Yes.
Mr. Mallaby?
Yes.
And chair votes yes. Next before us, we have approval of the minutes of June 4th, 2025. Has anyone have a chance to read them? And are there any errors or omissions?
Mr. Chair, I noticed that on line 117, the word stated should be added. Ms. Robideau stated.
117, and we're changing, all right, so 117,
Is not
Is-
the correct number on this one. Hold on.
that's a street number.
I would look at the one in your packet. We may have corrected that. So,
Looks to me it is corrected.
okay, I think we caught it.
My apologies. It looked like that got caught.
Great,
All set with that?
That
excellent,
got
thank
caught.
you.
Sorry.
Any other errors or omissions?
Seeing nothing, Mr. Chair, I move to accept the minutes as written.
Second.
Moved by O'Connor, seconded by Mallaby to accept the minutes as presented. We'll poll the board. Mr. Chase?
Yes.
Mr. Healy?
Yes.
Mr. Minervini?
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor?
Yes.
Mr. Fishman?
Yes.
Mr. Pelletier? Mr.
I
Chercello?
will abstain.
Mr. Mallaby?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Next on our agenda is correspondence.
Mr. Chair, we have not one, not two, but three pieces of correspondence tonight. Ooh. Well, the first bit is in your packet. It's the change of use spreadsheet, our quarterly update. Proud to say we have 10 new businesses in town. Second item is from the New Hampshire DOT, and it's signed by Wendy Johnson, the project engineer, about an open house at Wyndham High School. It's for information about the development on New Hampshire Route 111, beginning at the intersection of 111 with Ledge Road and London Bridge, proceeding east to the intersection with Wall Street and Enterprise Drive. And that's going to be on Tuesday, June 24th at the Wyndham High School, 64 London Bridge Road at 6 to 7. Oh, excuse me, the open house is from 6 to 7 and the presentation begins at 7 o'clock. And then the last piece is the town of Salem letting us know they're going to have a master plan update. There's going to be 4 dates on June 24th, July 8th, July 22nd, and August 12th. The Salem Town Hall, 7 p.m. That's it. 33 Garamonte Drive in Salem. Just to let us know they're going to have public hearings for the described proposal above.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, we move on to other business. We have under administrative review a request to replace a Chase Bank ATM with a Bank of America ATM on Hood Commons property. They are the owner, and parcel ID is 3601755 Crystal Avenue.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So in March of 2021, the planning board approved the installation of an ATM owned by Chase Bank in the parking lot of 55 Crystal Ave. That has since been removed. The Bank of America plans to install an ATM in the exact location, and you have the proposed plan. For those familiar with the plaza, as you come in from Crystal Ave, there's that longish empty parking lot, and it was kind of at the head of that parking lot. So Bank of America plans to install a new ATM in that location. All of the electrical, all the utilities that are required are there. So it would really just be the installation of the unit in the canopy. And if there are any questions, I believe we have representatives from Bank of America available online. It's just a change. But we wanted you to review it for the architectural elements.
So where is this in relation to the ill-fated small, long restaurant that was going to be in that area?
Just behind it,
Chipotle?
just behind where Chipotle was going to be.
So that no, should that ever be built or something similar, with no traffic interference with this?
No, no, there would not be. If anyone coming into that front portion of the parking lot with a new development would have to make sure that their traffic flow did not interfere with the ATM since that was there first.
Okay, great. Any questions on this? I think we have a suggested motion in our packet.
Just a quick question on that. The Chase Bank ATM was being located in that same spot?
It was there. Yeah, it used to be there. I believe it was blue.
Okay.
Yeah, and I believe it's removed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, seeing.
Do you have
no
the
further
motion? Because
questions,
I seem to have lost it.
I've got it.
Excellent.
Move to find the proposed plan is not substantially changed from the previous ATM plan for Chase Bank. Safe and efficient vehicle and pedestrian access is provided, and the proposed architectural rendering meets the requirements of the district, and I so move.
Second.
Moved by O'Connor, seconded by Malaby to determine that no formal review is required because this is substantially similar to a previously approved plan. I will poll the board. Mr. Chase?
Yes.
Mr. Healy?
Yes.
Mr. Minivini?
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor?
Yes.
Mr. Fishman?
Yes.
Mr. Pelletier?
Yes.
Mr. Chiricello?
Yes.
Mr. Malaby?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Okay, next item on the agenda is an architectural design review for a sign in the traditional business overlay district for Still Anthony's Cucina, parcel ID 30162, 43B East Broadway.
Okay, for this one, as the board members are aware, the sign requirements in the traditional business overlay district need to be reviewed by the planning board prior to the issuance of a sign permit. The architectural design of the sign must complement the design of the buildings and the surroundings. Still Anthony's Cucina is reopening under the prior ownership, and this is a change from the prior signage and awning, and the new owner is requesting the board review. You have a facsimile of the proposed sign on the back of the staff report, and we would recommend approval of the proposed signage.
Any questions?
Is the owner here?
He is not.
I think he should be here. I have a few questions that I'd like to ask, so I would move to table.
Okay, so about the design of the sign?
They're-
Specifically, or?
They're related to the placement of the sign. There's an awning there currently. I'd like to know where the sign's going, and I had a few other questions, but that, related to the sign, that would be my main question. There's an awning there presently, like where is this sign gonna go? Is it gonna go above where the apartments are? Is it gonna be replacing that awning? I feel, if someone's submitting something to the planning board, they should be present.
And we don't have any of that detail in the submission, correct?
No, if I recall correctly, with my conversations with Mr. Cristallo, the awning was going to come down, and the sign would be in place of that. But, I defer to the board.
Excuse me, I have a question. I mean, it looks like to me, and I think I've been here for a very long time, so I don't know if things changed, but this appears to be a sign that's attached to the building, and it comes out, like, because the top piece of hardware lends me to believe it's one of those signs that actually go against the building like this.
He told me it would be similar to how the Grind has affixed their sign.
So my question is, because, again, dating myself, I thought, and maybe Chairman Nelson remembers this too, I thought that we did away with those signs, because when we redid the downtown, excuse me, and we took the telephone poles down, we decided that it was getting loud over time with those type of signs, because when you stick it out, you can't see the next sign. So what ends up happening is the next person puts up a sign up above it, and it's a little bit bigger, and then it just gets really, what's the word I'm looking for? people trying to grab attention with bigger signs that hang that way. I thought that those weren't allowed. Am I wrong?
So at one point, you were correct. I was reading something while we were doing committee work, and I believe that signs that are perpendicular to the building are allowed, but limited to a particular size.
And height, like they had to be so many feet above the grade so that people weren't walking into them, and also that they weren't interfering with sight distance.
So if we could just verify that that is what it says, but you're right, Brian, that, it used to be not
It
allowed.
used to be, right?
Well, we didn't used to allow illuminated flashing signs either. So
Right.
Things change.
But I've noticed, being so close to the downtown, I've noticed other signs going up that are doing that, where we banned those type of signs in the past. I just don't know. You know, again, I don't want it to get back to the old days when you have these.
So if I can, in the ordinance, it says all projecting signs.
What page?
So 179 of your zoning ordinance. Item J, all projecting signs shall be located in such a manner so as not to block the line of sight from a motor vehicle or from pedestrian foot traffic, and no portion of the sign shall be located less than 8 feet from the grade.
Okay. So it's in there now.
Okay, it must have changed then.
Yeah,
But, all right,
Okay.
interesting.
thanks for clarifying that.
Yeah.
So we'll table this until July 2nd?
Well, let's see. We have a motion. Let's see if we get a second, and we'll see what the vote is on motion to table.
I will second, I will second that motion out of respect for Mr. Healy, because he's got questions, and I think it's right that he should have his questions answered, so I'll second that table
All
motion.
right, so moved by Healy,
Second.
seconded by Chiarcello.
Yes.
Dan Healy made the motion.
Yeah.
Right? And Brian Chill seconded it. So,
His motion was a table.
to table. Any, so motions to table are not debatable. So I will poll the board. Mr. Chase,
Yes.
Mr. Healy,
Yes.
Mr. Minervini,
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor,
Yes.
Mr. Fishman,
Yes.
Mr. Pelletier,
Yes.
Mr. Chiarcello,
Yes.
Mr. Malaby,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes. So we have tabled this to a, or actually we have, I think the right word is we have continued it to a date certain, correct?
Well, it's an administrative item, but yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right, and I will reach out to Mr. Cristallo and request his attendance. Okay, will do.
All right. Now we move on to planning director and chairman updates.
So a couple of things. We need to revisit the summer schedule. Couple of reasons. One, I gave an incorrect date at the last meeting. Also, in the Gateway Committee meetings, we've been trying to, figure out the plan moving forward for how we're going to get amendments to the board and workshop and work within the timeline that we had tentatively set to get any proposed changes to council. So we know that we have a hearing date of July 2nd, but we would like to open it up to board discussion for the date in August, whether it be August 6th or August 20th. And the chair might be able to speak a little bit further to that.
Yeah, I attended the most recent committee meeting because I had volunteered to work on pieces. And I observed that we've made good progress, and I'm very proud and very happy with the work that's going on. But between August 2nd and, July 2nd and August 20, whatever, that's a long period of time. And then we're at the end of the month. So I posited, would we do the first meeting, first week in July and the first week in August, leaving us some additional time between then and the end of the month if we needed to make additional revisions, as opposed to having a very long time when we had inability to make any changes publicly. So that was kind of the thought process. Anyone have any specific vacation plans that would be impacted if we made that change?
Just for clarity, so the proposal is to have a July 2nd and an August 6th meeting.
Right.
July 2nd wouldn't be affected, but I will not be available August 6th.
Okay. I guess is there any, well, we typically do first and third. Would you be available the second Wednesday?
Yes.
That'd be the 13th.
Yes.
Anyone else not available on that day?
I won't be, but that's.
Okay, well, okay.
yeah,
So this is a no-win thing, so
It doesn't
we
matter to
will
me.
excuse you with our thanks then. Because I think our bylaws do say first and third, so. If there's no objection, then we will make that schedule change.
Okay, so July 2nd and August 6th.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Additionally, we have been, staff has been struggling a little bit to get the applications, especially the abutter lists and things reviewed and out, notices out. Currently, our deadline is Tuesday at 2, and then because of the union leader deadlines that we need to meet, we have to get the notice to the union leader by noon on Wednesday. So we're scrambling, mostly Caroline, the poor thing, in between 2 o'clock on Tuesday. We're both going through the application to make sure it's complete enough to get to the board, reviewing the abutter lists. If they're incorrect, trying to get changes back, or we're making the changes ourselves. So we're struggling to get things processed, to get things out the door on Wednesday. So Caroline asked if it would be possible for us to change our planning board deadline to the Friday prior, rather than the Tuesday. So, but we don't want to make that kind of
I would
administrative
suggest that sounds
without it.
extremely reasonable, especially
Okay.
since our deadline is already half of what most other boards in the state require. So
Mhm.
extending it a little bit to make all that work smoother, I think that would be a good idea. Is there any objection from any member of the board to moving the deadline from the Tuesday up to the preceding Friday? Okay, hearing none, then go ahead and do that.
Thank you, appreciate that very much. And I think that's it for me.
So,
No, the knobs were in agreement with you.
again, I would like to thank the Gateway Committee. I'm going to put somebody on the spot and ask for an update. I'm now one of the people helping to write text and helping to move things forward. And I think we're doing a good job. I did say that I was hoping we could stick to the original schedule and get it to the council by the end of August. We'll see. With their summer schedule and our summer schedule, that may be challenging. But who would like to give a recap? Mr. Fisherman, you were at the meeting.
Sure. On Tuesday, the Gateway Subcommittee met to discuss the takeaway from the first workshop, which was very helpful. Thank you. We've been discussing different ways to go about eating this elephant one bite at a time, so to speak, and generating feedback that will be able to move through the board in an expeditious process. There's been a number of discussions as to developing a new industrial 7 zone, copying a lot from the current industrial 4 zone, but then changing and adding some uses. There's been a lot of discussion into defining how to define those uses, clarifications over lifestyle centers, conference centers, and really finding better language. Really, we're trying to also ensure that the uses, the scope of an individual use matches the existing scope of uses in our current regulations. So not having a bunch of finite or very granular uses and then a very broad one. It's important to maintain coherency and consistency. As you know, I had to step away at the last minute from the very closing of that meeting, so I may not have the absolute up-to-date latest, but We're going to be meeting again Thursday, next Thursday.
At 1 o'clock.
At 1 o'clock to continue the discussion. And hopefully at that point, we'll be ready to actually have some draft guidance that we'll share around with the board. And that's the hope, at least.
Yeah, I'll chime in. I was assigned to write a new section for the architectural design regulations to protect what was called south of Folsom, the predominantly residential neighborhood that could have conversions to commercial uses, but we wanted to protect the architectural design and integrity. So I wrote a new section for that. And in order to protect that district, we decided to redefine an existing zone called neighborhood commercial. No parcels in Derry were actually zoned in that district anymore. And I like the word neighborhood commercial because it had the friendly word neighborhood. And so we are going to use neighborhood commercial for that area south of Folsom and have very specific uses, and that will have high compliance with the new section of the architectural design regs. So my hope is that we will have a fairly decent draft for the board to review and workshop on July 2nd. And if there's no changes or it doesn't get sent back to committee, then we can hopefully move it forward at the August meeting to public hearing, which would mean that we won't have a public hearing until September, unless we decide to meet over vacation. But I'll also ask Mr. Chase as our council liaison, what is the council expecting of us in terms of when they might see an ordinance for them to act upon?
As long as we could have it by early fall.
Okay. Sounds good. So that's the plan. And again, thank you all. We now have a public hearing. Family Promise of Greater Nashua, parcel ID 36066 for 12 Peabody Road. Kenneth and Barbara Rapson, parcel ID 36066 04004 14 Coburn Road. It's a lot line adjustment between those two parcels.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the planning board has before it a request for a lot line adjustment between 12 Peabody Road, which is the home of Family Promise, a transitional housing facility, in 14 Coburn, currently the Rapson residence. The intent of the plan is to effectuate a lot line adjustment consisting of 3,143 square feet between 12 Peabody and 14 Coburn. The area is part of 12 Coburn, but is encumbered by portions of the pool and shed located, 12 Peabody, but is encumbered by portions of the pool and shed located on 14 Coburn. The lot line adjustment will allow the amenities to be located on the Rapson's lot. Both properties are located in the MHDR zoning district. Approval of the lot line adjustment will not create any nonconformities with regard to lot area or setbacks in the district. And it should be noted, a very small area of the pool will be located on the setback line. As this is an existing condition, it should not pose a hardship for the landowner. The plan as presented meets the regulatory checklist, and the only item that should be added to the plan would be state plan coordinates, and that has been provided as a suggested condition of approval. There's 3 waiver requests, which relate to the checklist. And the recommendation would be to review and approve as presented. Jason Lopez from Keach Nordstrom is here to present, and also Pam Wellman, the Executive Director of Family Promise, is here, as well as the Rapson family.
Great. So let's then move on acceptance.
Mr. Chair, I move to accept jurisdiction of the lot line adjustment plan before the board for Family Promise of Greater Nashua, PID 36066, 12 Peabody Road, and Kenneth and Barbara Rapson, PID 36066-004, 14 Coburn Road.
Second.
It's been moved by Healy, seconded by Malaby to accept jurisdiction. Mr. Chase?
Yes.
Mr. Healy?
Yes.
Mr. Minivini?
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor?
Yes.
Mr. Fishman?
Yes.
Mr. Pelletier?
Yes.
Mr. Chircello?
Yes.
Mr. Malaby?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Can I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So move.
Second.
Moved by Churchill, seconded by Malaby. All those in favor of opening the public hearing, please say aye.
Aye.
Public hearing is open. I would now hear from the applicant as to your presentation of summary and waiver requests.
Yes, Jason Lopez, Keach Nordstrom Associates. And as Liz stated, both owners are here and present if the board has questions. For about 30 years or so, there's been some encroachments over onto the abutting property owned by Family Promise of Greater Nashua. Both parties have come to an agreement to do a simple lot line adjustment to rectify the situation, little over 3,000 square feet. There are 3 waivers, one for topography, one for HIS mapping, and another for traffic. Just belief of, none of the data requested on the application checklist would pose any changes to the application. There would be no benefit or material substance change due to those 3 items, so we've requested a waiver for those.
So for those members of the board who may be new, for a small impact lot line adjustment, we almost always grant these waivers because there's really no need for that level of data on just moving a lot line.
So with that, we have reviewed the staff memo and do not take any exceptions to the recommended conditions. If any board members have more specific questions on the layout of the plan or questions on the property, we'll
Well,
be
let's
happy to-
first go to the public. Is there anyone in the audience present physically who has comments or questions? Or anyone in the home audience who has comments or questions? Seeing none rise in the room, let's go back to the board. Any members of the board have comments or questions?
I find it to be a very simple lot line adjustment. And correct an issue.
All right, can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Moved by O'Connor, seconded by Churchill to close the public hearing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Public hearing is closed. On the matter of the waivers, what is our disposition?
Mr. Chair, I move to grant a waiver from LDCR Section 170-24.A 11 topography to not provide 2-foot contours as both parcels are fully developed. I move to grant a waiver from LDCR Section 170-24.A 12 HIS mapping to not provide high-intensity soils mapping as both parcels are fully developed. Move to grant a waiver from LDCR Section 170-24.A 18 traffic to not provide a traffic impact statement as there is no change in traffic as a result of the lot line adjustment. After review of the 3 waiver requests, the board finds that strict conformity to the regulations would pose an unnecessary hardship to the applicant, and the waiver would not be contrary to the spirit and intent of the regulations.
Second. By Healy, seconded by Malby to approve 3 waivers. Mr. Chase.
Yes.
Mr. Healy.
Yes.
Mr. Minivini.
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor.
Yes.
Mr. Fisherman.
Yes.
Mr. Pelletier.
Yes.
Mr. Cherichello.
Yes.
Mr. Malby.
Yes.
And chair votes yes. And on the findings of fact.
Mr. Chair, I move to find the proposed plan does not alter existing conditions which would affect access to the lots, ensuring the health and safety and welfare of the neighborhood remains unchanged as a result of the adjustment of the lot line.
Second.
Moved by Healy, seconded by Malaby to make findings of fact. We'll poll the board. Mr. Chase?
Yes.
Mr. Healy?
Yes.
Mr. Minivini?
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor?
Yes.
Mr. Fisherman?
Yes.
Pelletier?
Yes.
Mr. Cherichello?
Yes.
Mr. Malaby?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. And on the approval?
You can ignore the first 3 lines. Yeah, just ignore those, so after.
Okay. Mr. Chair, I move to approve pursuant to, after review and deliberation of the lot line adjustment plan for Family Promise of Greater Nashua, PID 36066, 12 Peabody Road, and Kenneth and Barbara Rapson, PID 36066-004, 14 Coburn Road. The board finds that the applicant has satisfied the general requirements of the land development control regulations, or in cases where the regulation cannot be met, has satisfied the waiver requirements. Therefore, The motion is to approve pursuant to RSA 676:4 Roman numeral 3 expedited review with the following conditions: subject to owner's signatures, subject to an on-site inspection by the town engineer, establish escrow for the setting of bounds or certify the bounds have been set, note approved waivers or waiver on the plan, obtain written approval from the planning director designee that the GIS submission is received and is operable and complies with LDCR section 170-24.c, add note to the plan stating approval by the Derry Planning Board in and of itself does not effectuate a change in the lot line configuration. The approval constitutes recognition by the town of Derry that the lot configurations as proposed are in conformance with local land use regulations or are otherwise accepted with non-conformances. Add state plane coordinates at 2 boundary corners. Submission of the appropriate recording fees payable to the Rockingham County Register of Deeds. This includes the $25 L-chip fee, recording fees for the Mylar and the notice of decision. Conditions precedent shall be met within 6 months. The documents reflecting conveyance of the lots by deed should be recorded at the Rockingham County Register of Deeds along with the final Mylar.
Second.
All right, so it has been moved by Mr. Healy, seconded by Mr. Malaby to grant conditional approval. Mr. O'Connor?
I'd like to ask a question of the town Public Works Director. Are there any issues that you see here?
No issues.
Very good, thank you.
Anyone else have comments, questions, discussion? Hearing none, I'll poll the board. Mr. Chase?
Yes.
Mr. Healy?
Yes.
Mr. Minervini?
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor?
Yes.
Mr. Fishman?
Yes.
Mr. Pelletier?
Yes.
Mr. Chercello?
Yes.
Mr. Malaby?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
And that brings us to board member comments. I have one comment. I don't know how well this is going to go because last time I tried this, it went over like a lead balloon. But I have observed that whenever we have a simple lot line adjustment, we always grant the same 3 waivers. How about we actually amend the LDCRs to exempt lot line adjustments from those requirements?
I would love to do that along with minor subdivisions for some of those requirements that were constantly just waive. That would be great.
So yeah, why don't you propose that, come back to, at some point with some language? I know in the past when we've tried to eliminate waivers that we always grant, it didn't work, but maybe we'll be lucky this time because it does seem to take extra time. It makes the engineers do extra writing, so I don't really see any purpose in it. Anyone disagree that we should do that?
The minor subdivision, I would want to understand some of the context, but certainly for a lot line adjustment, yeah.
Yeah,
seems like
yeah,
a
certainly for the
no-brainer.
lot line adjustment, and we can talk about the minor subdivision.
Okay, yeah. Or
All
maybe
right,
it's a minor
any
site
other
plan, yeah.
board member comments?
Then I will move to adjourn.
Second.
All right, all those in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
We stand adjourned.